Hi, my name is Chris and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing Leetcode problem number 18 for sum. It's considered a medium level. So since given array nums of n integers, return an array of all unique quadruplets, nums at A, nums at B, nums C, nums at D, such that 0 is less than or equal to A, B, C, D is less than N. A, B, and C, and D are distinct. Okay, so essentially what this means is, for example, if we're given this array here, nums, and target is 0, we got to find, all possible combinations of 4 of these numbers equaling the target, right? So what we're getting here is we're getting -2, -1, 1 and 2. That's all going to equal 0. -2, 0, 0, and 2 is going to equal 0. -1, 0, 0, and 1 is going to equal 0. Okay? And so the other issue, the other thing you need to take consideration is you can't have duplicates, right? So I couldn't have this array another time, for example. That is kind of an edge case. All right, so this problem is really, expanding on the three-sum problem in Leetcode. If you haven't solved that, I would highly suggest doing that first. Because really all four-sum it's the exact same as three-sum. The same sort of approach to solve it. We're just going to add another for loop. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to jump over here to CodePen. Got my variable set up. We're going to use this nums and this target. Create a function. Whoops. Call it func. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to sort nums. So we're going to say nums.sort. Oops. Excuse me. A, B, and then arrow function, and then A minus B. Now we're going to return nums. Console log the function. Okay, so here's our sorted nums. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it up here for reference. Okay, let's figure out what our result would be. So we're trying to get -1. So let's look at all possible combinations here. Let's talk about how we're going to approach this first. We're going to create a for loop. Well, let's create a variable first. So we're going to call it result. Make that an empty array. And then we're going to create a for loop for let I1 equals 0 if I1 is less than nums.length. We're going to increment I1. Okay. So what are we going to do here? So this I1 is starting at 0 here. Now we're going to create another for loop that's going to start here. Inside that for loop, we're going to create 2 more variables that are going to represent 2 more indexes. And the next one's going to start here, and the next one's going to start here, right? Now, one thing we're going to need to check for right away in both these for loops is, let's say we're here, right? Let's say this is your first index, excuse me, this is your second index, your third, and your fourth, right? So you're going to check -1, 0, 1, 2, right? Well, when this one increments, then you're going to have the exact same set of numbers. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to have to check twice. It's going to slow our algorithm down. Plus, let's say hypothetically, that added up to the target, then you're going to have a duplicate arrays in your result, which is something we don't want as well. So the way that we're going to handle this is we're going to say if I1 is greater than 0 and nums at I1 equals nums I1 minus 1, then we're going to say continue. So essentially, if this condition is met, I1's going to increment one more time. So for example, when we get here, so, you know, we're going to check, so when this is I1, and this is I2, and this is I3, or I2, I3, and I4, we're going to check these three numbers, right? And then we're going to increment here, and then this check is going to see, oh, we're at I1 here. If we say I1 minus 1 there, these are the same, so we're going to continue. So it's going to increment one more time, so we don't have that checked twice. That being checked twice. Okay, the next thing we want to consider too is we don't want nums.length, and the reason why is the last check we're going to make is this, and that. So I1 should never go past here, right? So what we're going to say is nums.length minus 3. Okay. Now we're going to create another for loop inside of that. I'm just going to copy all this. And we're going to change this to 2. Change this to 2. And then we're going to change this to 2. And the reason, whoops. And the reason B, whoops, what's going on here? There we go. The reason for that is just like we don't want I1 going past this index here. We don't want I2 going past this index, right? Because then this is going to be I3 and I4. Okay. So we're also going to say continue. Oops, I'm sorry. We forgot that for loop. And then we need to do the same thing here. We need to check and make sure that they're not the same, right? So now this has got to be 1, and this has got to be I2, and this has got to be I2. Whoops. And this is wrong. This is supposed to be +1. This is supposed to be +1. And then there's a couple more things we need to do. So, oh yeah, I2 does not equal 0. It's going to equal I1 plus 1, right? Because we always want, like, if I1 is here, we want this for loop starting here. If I1 is here, we want I2 starting here, right? Okay. Let me just make sure that we're all good. We haven't made any mistakes yet. Oh, I see what I did wrong. So this needs to be -1. Both of these do. Okay. And this, we don't want it to be 1. We want it to be I1. Oops. And making all kinds of mistakes today. I mean, this needs to be I2. Okay, next thing I want to do, I'm gonna comment that out for now, so we don't create any more infinite loops. All right, so we're inside our second for loop here, right? So inside that second for loop, we're going to create 2 variables. We're going to create a third index, and we're going to say that equals I2 plus 1, right? Because again, what we're doing, you know, the very first, when it's first set up, this is I1 here, this is I2 here, this is I3 here, and then I4 is going to be there. So let's get that. So we'll say let I4 equal nums.length -1. Okay? And so now we're going to create a while loop that's going to kind of, you know, instruct these 2 indices, the behavior of these 2 indices. And we did, no. Oh, no, we're good. So let's create a while loop. We'll say while I3 is less than I4. So once they're the same, we want to break out of this while loop. Or sometimes you'll see scenarios where they actually, I4 is going to be less than I3, and then we break out of this loop. So we say while. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a variable. We're going to call it sum. Let sum equals nums I1. And I'm feeling a little lazy. I'm just going to copy this, copy that. Oops, I messed up. And of course, we need to change this to 2. This needs to be changed to 3, and this needs to be changed to 4. Okay. So there's our sum. And now what we're going to do is, first thing is we're going to check if sum equals target, then we want to push into result, so result.push an array these 4 numbers. So I'm just going to get rid of the pluses here. And add commas. Excuse me. Okay. So what we're also going to have to do here is now we're going to have to check, do this check on I3 and 4. So in order to do that, we're going to create a while loop. We'll say while. And first, we're going to check to see if I3 is less than I4. I keep on writing 14. And nums I3 equals nums I3 plus 1. So while this is true, we can increment I3. Cool. Then we're also going to do these very similar thing, I shouldn't say the exact same thing, similar thing to I4, create another while loop. We're going to change this to I4, but this time we're going to check the previous value. And if they're the same, we'll say I4 minus minus. Great. And so the last thing that we want to do is if our sum equals our target, we want to increment I3 and decrement I4. Cool. And so that's only if, sum equals target. So we have two other possibilities. First is if sum is less than target, we want to increment I3. And then the only other possible scenario is if it's less than target, greater than target, in which case we want to decrement I4. Okay, I think we should be in good shape here. And then, of course, we don't want to return nums, we want to return result. All right. Try it out. Looks like I did an infinite, either I created an infinite loop or this is left over from the last infinite loop I created. Either way, good if we just go ahead and copy all this. We're going to go create a new code pen. That way we can start fresh. If we still have a loop, oops, let me try something different. Yeah, we're stuck. Okay. Bummer. Okay, let's see what I did. I must have done something wrong in here. So let's comment that out. 1 second, please. Okay, I think this is all correct. Wait a minute, I'm seeing something right now. We need to, well, first mistake is we need +1 here. Okay, so that's looking good. Our variables are looking good. I'm used to messing up this step, so I'm going to be extra careful to make sure this is all correct. This is, for me, is the trickiest part of the code. So our sum is correct. That's all correct. That's all correct. Else if sum is less than target. Okay, I think we're good to go. Might have just been that one thing. Just to, well, maybe it'll unlock. Let's see. Nope. All right, let's try another code pen here. I did something and I can't find it. That's a bummer. Well, maybe what we should do is go ahead and try it out and submit it. See what kind of errors we get. Try it out. It's passing those. Oh, it works fine. Okay, good. What was going on with CodePen there? But whatever, we passed beating 77%. All right. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more like these, please like and subscribe to my channel. We'll see you again real soon.